talking to Chuck Baldwin, running for president right now on the Constitution Party ticket. Glad he got the nomination, one of their best candidates in a long time. They tried to put in Alan Keyes, who is a former UN ambassador, globalist, fake conservative. I know you like Alan. He seems like a nice guy, wolf in sheep's clothing. I know you don't want to say anything mean, Mr. Baldwin, but I'm glad that you got it.
Well, thank you very much. And I was really a little surprised and even shocked might be the word at the margin of victory. Alan really lobbied hard for the nomination. He brought in his staff at the convention there in Kansas City. They were buttonholing delegates throughout the week and taking them up to the room and talking with them and lobbying them, of course, for their votes, et cetera. And really a lot of work was done by them. And Alan is a very articulate, intelligent, educated man. He's a great personality.
But he's a neocon. He's a neocon.
What I'm saying is that he brought his message to the convention. And I think in the end, while I and so many others appreciate his stand on abortion and things of that nature, it was his issues regarding foreign policy, et cetera, some of the issues that you talk about all the time on your program, things that I write about in my columns. And the Constitution Party just could not accept it. And when the vote was made, it was 74% for Chuck Baldwin and 24% for Alan Keyes. So really, I won on the strength of the message. It wasn't personality. It was the message.
And I think that's a signal that all this fake conservative stuff's over. We're done. Well, I mean, can you believe McCain, an open border, pro-abortion, gun control, pro-war, New World Order piece of trash, and that's who the Republican nominee is?
I wrote in a column just a couple of days ago, with Obama, Hillary, and McCain, what we have is three peas in a pod, because really when you look at their policies and their positions, there's very little difference between them.
Yeah.
And I think that many of the Christians and many of the conservatives this year are looking for an alternative. I really sense that.
Oh, yeah, you're running in the strongest year I've ever thought of for a Constitution Party, for a true conservative party. And I know you got Howard Phelps behind you with his big coalition. I want to get him on soon. Fire out your website for folks that want to get involved.
Thank you very much, Alan, for letting me do that. It's Baldwin2008.com. That's Baldwin2008.com. And we just had, just to let your audience know, we've had two retired brigadier generals that have officially endorsed our campaign. Brigadier General Charles Jones and Brigadier General Ben Parton have come out and publicly supported our campaign. They realize what's going on in this country that affects our military, and they are very proud and happy to support us, and we're excited about that. And I think that more of the military people, as they listen to us, as they hear us, they're going to like the message. Because it's the message of truth. It's the message of the Founding Fathers. It's the message of freedom, of independence.
Well, that's now known as the message of Al-Qaeda. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the training manuals and news articles where they arrest you, you have an anti-UN sticker, or the police are being trained that the Founding Fathers are bad. I mean, how did we ever get this far?
Well, it's been about a half-century process. It started back in the late 50s, early 60s, as you know, and it's been increasingly intensifying since then. I think they've set a goal. The globalists, the New World Order types, have set a goal to have all this come to fruition by 2010 and then later 2015 to bring it all together. 2010 for the Northern Hemisphere and then 2015 for the world. They want to bring America into this North American Union, very similar to the European Union, complete with an Amero. And Jerry Corsi, who supports us, has done yeoman's work of research on this particular regard, and he's a great guy. And they want to bring that in by 2010. And if any of these three candidates, McCain or the two Democrats, get in office, it's going to be a reality. They're going to push it through. If I get in, we're going to stop it.
Pastor Baldwin, stay there. I want to come back and give you just 5 more minutes on the side. I know you're busy. To give us your basic platform without me interrupting. Then I've got a bunch of news I'm going to blitz through, ladies and gentlemen, that I haven't even gotten to with all these huge guests today. Ron Paul yesterday, Jesse Ventura today, Chuck Baldwin today. And it only gets better throughout this week and next week. We'll be right back. Shifting gears back to the Constitution Party presidential nominee. I couldn't think of a better one. And when I heard it was Alan Keyes before, I was cringing. Acts nice, acts friendly. He's right on so many issues, but he's a neocon at heart. And I've just had enough of it. I've had it. and a true conservative, a true freedom fighter, a true American, a great writer, a great researcher, a great pastor, Chuck Baldwin. Chuck, in closing, give people your basic rundown, what you're going to be out there preaching, the message of liberty, what your message is, what your platform is, what you would do.
Thank you, Alex. Well, we would do what we said a moment ago. First thing we would do is close that border. We would end illegal immigration. We would get out of the North American Union, the NAFTA superhighway, get out of NAFTA, CAFTA, the FTE to FTAA, these so-called free trade deals, their history. The New World Order comes crashing down the day that I take office. We would end foreign aid, no more nation building, empire building, interventionism around the world. My goal would be to get America out of the United Nations entirely and get the United Nations out of America. We would get out of UNESCO. We would get out of NATO. We would do our best to overturn the 16th Amendment and the personal income tax. We would lead the charge to get rid of the Federal Reserve System. We would try to restore the Constitution again to America, limited government freedom. We would restore the Fourth Amendment. The Patriot Act is abysmal. This incessant spying and eavesdropping on American citizens without warrant in the name of security is atrocious. It stops the day that I take office. We're going to restore constitutional government to America, Alex. We're going to restore freedom to America. We're going to bring our troops home from Iraq. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do it. The next time we invade a country, we're going to have a declaration of war before we do it. We're not going to allow our troops to be the personal militia for the United Nations. We're going to protect America, our territory, our people. We're going to fight whenever it's necessary for our country, but we are not going to be tools for the United Nations anymore. We're going to protect what is our interest, not the interests of the United Nations and the global corporate leaders of this world. So we have a vision of freedom. It's the same vision that our founding fathers gave us over 200 years ago. It's the message that we're going to take to the American people. And as I told the Constitution Party in my acceptance speech a few weeks ago, Alex, in Kansas City, the problem is not that the American people have rejected our message. The media would have us believe that. That's not true. The American people have not heard our message. We've not been able to get into the debates. They try to ignore us. They ignored Ron Paul. And by the way, I think you know this, that I was a supporter of Ron Paul's during the primary season. I campaigned for him aggressively in several states. I wrote copiously on his behalf, and I believe in his message. And I know that the media did everything they could to keep him out of the debates and to mistreat him. They do that all the time.
Well, you're right. Here's another point I want to throw in just briefly. I am not going to be supporting libertarian presidential candidates, CIA officer, pro-drug war, pro-gun control votes. He then acts like he's a good guy on the NRA board, Bob Barr. He is just there to neutralize and make sure that party goes nowhere. And I can say that authoritatively. I wouldn't trust Bob Barr as far as you can throw him. And I've had him on a few times. He knows full well who I am. And I just don't trust him. I trust you. So Ron Paul better put his support behind you once he's out of it after the convention.
I was with Ron Paul just last week in Washington. We had a good talk. He's very supportive of our campaign. He and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm glad to call him my friend. Let me tell you something. I really believe that we are at a historic opportunity in our country, Alex. I think the American people are beginning to recognize that the two major parties are marching in the same direction with the same agenda, motivated and funded by the same people, and I believe that many of the American people are looking for an alternative. We need help. We need help in our campaign financially, as you do on your show. Trust that your listeners will support your money bomb and will help you. I'd like to think that some folks would find us worthy and would help us. I have an 800 number that if I could give out.
Yeah, give that out.
We're trying to get on the write-in ballot in Texas as well. And if your supporters down there in the great state of Texas could help us, that would be greatly appreciated. The number that anybody can call that would like to help us is 1-800-2, that's the number 2, 1-800-2-VETO-IRS. That's 1-800-2-VETO-IRS. Also, the Constitution Party website is constitutionparty.com, all one word, constitutionparty.com. My website is baldwin2008.com. It's not quite finished yet. Hopefully by the end of this week, the web page in its entirety will be up and so forth. But right now, people can donate online at Baldwin2008.com.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. I want to get you back up in the next few weeks to take calls and really flesh some things out. But I'm supporting you, Pastor Baldwin, Chuck Baldwin, Baldwin2008.com. Thanks for spending time with us.
Very happy to do so, and thank you, Alex, very much. Keep up the good work.
Take care, sir. Well, that's a great American right there. And